Aluhu. Ashadala Henamodel Botelo, Alaba Biska Wabiako, Kakwados, Shemeka Kwados, Shemeka Lola Mae, with Shaman Bene Israel, El Shabbat La So, El Shabbat Le Dolo Time, Medi Ola, Beni Bene Israel, Oti Lola, Kisha She, I mean Masa El Shaddai Wa Shamayim, where Ta'alet, Bayom Mashbi, Shabbat Wa Inafash, Baruch Shemeka, Baruch Yimeneka, Baruch Tulateka, Baruch Tushateka. El Shaddai Malek, El Shaddai Malak, El Shaddai Imlok Lola Mahe, Baruch Shem Kabor Makuto Lola Mahe, Baruch Kabor Lohim Min Kamo Malek Elyon, Aluhu Lola Mahe. First of all, I'd like to give all honor and praise to the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, the great, mighty, and revered God, the Most High God, who bestows his loving kindness and possesses all things, who remembers the pious deeds of the patriarchs, the Most High, slow of anger, great in kindness, forgiving iniquity and transgressions, but who will by no means clear the guilty, visiting iniquities of fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generation. The Most High's work is perfect, for all his ways of justice, a God of faithfulness and without iniquity, just and right is he. You may be seated. Giving due respect and honor to a head in Israel, my father, Chief Eleazar, to the chiefmen, princes, mother in Israel, brothers and sisters, visitors, I say unto the tongue of my forefathers, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Holy day of the Lord. A day to be glorified and honored. Because God has ordained this day to be glorified and honored. The Creator, the God of our forefathers, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of Moses, the God of Aaron, the God of Simeon, the God of Levi, the same God. And how did God acknowledge this day? It all stemmed back from the beginning, during the creation, when God was creating the heaven and the earth, and all that is therein it is. He said he stretched out the heavens above and separated the waters from above from beneath. But the Creator had brought all these things into existence in 6 days. In 6 days. And he ceased from creating on the 7th day. He ceased from creating on the 7th day. So therefore, because God has honored this day, the only day that God gave a name to, which is Shabbat, which is Shabbaton. Shabbaton means general strike, work stoppers, to cease from activities. To cease from activities. This is why I'm against the Unity Shabbat. I'm against all these functions and activities that people bring about on God's day. Special events on God's day. We got to pick other days for these events. But people pick the Lord's holy day to do certain events. Why? Why don't we pick God's day to do events on? Why? Let's go into the law. Deuteronomy chapter 13.
Break it down.
Got it?
Deuteronomy chapter 13.
Let's read it.
If there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams.
If there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams.
And give it thee a sign
or a wonder.
And the sign or the wonder come to pass.
And the sign or wonder come to pass.
Whereof he spake unto thee, saying, let us go after other gods.
Let us go after other gods. The word go. The Hebrew word for go is yalak. Yalak means to walk after. To walk after means to be guided by their counsels and influence. You know what that means? To be guided by heathenistic counsels and heathenistic influences. The influences of the heathens. the counsel of the heathens. We got to watch these things and be careful of these things, because you don't have to be in the Muslim mosques and in the churches to serve other gods. Okay? Okay, Tamshi.
Let us go after other gods.
Let us go after other gods
which thou hast not known.
Which thou hast not known.
And let us serve them.
Uh-huh.
Verse 3. Thou shalt not hearken unto the words of that prophet, or the dreamer of dreams. For the Lord your God proveth you to know whether you love the Lord your God with all your heart.
The word for prove is nasa. Nasa means to test. For the Lord thy God proveth you. He tests you. He's going to try you. God is going to try you, and he's going to test you, and he's going to use the very same thing that you are weak at. The very same thing that you uphold and you have so much respect for, he's going to use that very same thing to see what you're going to choose. You're going to choose God, or you're going to choose this. You're going to choose God, or you're going to choose that. Okay? So when God proves you, what he does?
To know
whether to establish the truth or validity of by evidence. By evidence. There had been evidence that there had been a flood because they found seashells on the highest mountain. What was the demonstration? When God brought the nation, when the Creator brought the whole nation on the grounds of Mount Sinai, that was a hell of a demonstration. In that demonstration, God brought the nation at the grounds of Mount Sinai so that they may fear me. That's why God brought these people there. So that they may learn to fear God, that they sin not. So that demonstration that God did was supposed to instill fear in the people. But the people, God did not give the people eyes to see or to understand until the 40th year. Until the 40th year. Which means what? That's what? Blind allegiance. That's called blind allegiance. God wanted to see if the people was going to honor and respect his laws without you understanding what you're doing. That's what he did to the people. The people ain't understand nothing. And God didn't give them a heart to understand until the 40th year. Just watch and then perceive the demonstration of God and fear God just by what you was able to see. That's what God was looking for. All right? Validity means conforming to accepted principles. Accepted principles. What are the accepted principles? The accepted principles of God. Not your principles, not my principles. See, we have our own principles, but our principles doesn't correlate with the principles of God. To test. Now, when God tests us, right? When God tests us, when God tries us, he tries us three ways: observation, evaluation. He put you through trials. So when God is observing you to conform to one's actions, he is observing you to see if you are able to conform to the word of God. Are you able to agree with the word of God? Can you agree with the word of God? Denouncing how you feel about it. I got to be able to denounce and muffle how I feel with this particular law. Because God accepted. Can we do that? Can we say, I have to accept this because God accepts this? That's what God is looking for.
There you go.
No matter how you feel, how I feel, how we feel don't count. Can we accept the laws of God?
Without adding on.
Without adding on.
Yeah.
Disregarding your feelings and your emotions.
Yeah.
To evaluate means what? To determine the value or worth of a person. That's what God did with Job. That's what God did with Job. To trial, when God put you through trial, he tests your faith. When God put you certain trials, he tests your patience. When God put you through certain trials, he tests your stamina by sufferings, by suffering or temptation. God tests you and try you by causing you and making you suffer. Then you start to question and say, man, why am I going through this? I'm going through hell. But God is putting me through certain trials and tribulations to try you. Are you going to continue in this trial having trust in God? Are you going to break your trust in God? See, we're not connected. We're not that connected like our forefathers to get answers, to find out the reason why or what's going on. Tom sheet.
Thou shalt not hearken unto the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams.
Thou shalt not hearken to the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams. We don't have prophets today.
We don't.
Okay? But we do have people that tells us things to detour us away from God.
Same thing.
We do have people that reveal and say certain things that's going to detour you away from God. Sometimes you are linked up with people that's going to detour you away from God. We got to learn to let certain people go. Why? Why we got to learn to let certain things go? Certain people go. Certain women got to go.
That's right.
Disregarding how you feel and how much you love her or him.
Right.
But for the sake of fulfilling the laws of God, I have to let you go.
Wow.
I got to disregard my emotions and my feelings.
Right.
And it's going to hurt. But your love for God got to be greater. And that's our problem.
Okay.
Your love for God wasn't greater than how you feel.
Yep.
Because you were so, it was so difficult for you to let that person go. That's why God gave us a law. God gave us a command. He said, love me. Love God with all your heart, soul, and might.
Yeah.
You only give God that. Because at any given time, I got to let this man go. At any given time, I may have to let this woman go. At any given time, I may have to push my kids away for the sake of the laws of God. For the sake of fulfilling the laws, commandments, and statutes of God. Tom sheet.
For the Lord your God proveth you to know whether you love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. Verse 4. You shall walk after the Lord your God and fear him, and keep his commandments, and obey his voice, and you shall serve him and cleave unto him.
So he said, the Lord thy God proveth you to know whether ye love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. To love God. Love is affection based on admiration, benevolence, and common interests.
Yeah, talk about it.
What is admiration?
Come on, break it down.
Love is based on these three things. Admiration, benevolence, and common interests.
Yeah.
What is admiration? Admiration, admire, or admiration goes to God. I cannot admire my parents because admiration is a form of worship. You honor your parents and glorify your parents. I have to admire God. Admiration is a form of worship. Admiration is what? Feeling of delighted or astonished approbation. All right? What is approbation? An act of approving formally. There comes a time that you may have to denounce that idol. There comes a time that you may have to denounce certain things. Okay? There comes a certain time where you have to speak up. You got to speak up sometimes. Make certain declarations.
That's right.
You do. Come on.
You got to make a declaration, man.
Right.
Because when people don't make declarations, you are not firmly decided in your mind.
Wishy-washy.
I said you are not firmly decided in your mind to walk before the God of Israel. Because you are afraid to make certain declarations. You are afraid to denounce your past. You are afraid to denounce certain things of how you grew up in. Okay, I haven't got over the hump yet. I'm still in between two fences. I'm still riding the fence. What is benevolence? Tendency or disposition to do good. You know who had that? Jeroboam's son. God killed Jeroboam's son. He said, only he shall go to the grave. Why? Because Jeroboam's son, God said, that's the only one. He got good in him. God said that Jeroboam's son had good in him. Jeroboam's son had a certain amount of good in him that his father didn't have. That's why you will have a child that will turn towards God, but the parents is against it. Because the children or the child or a man or a child or a woman have a certain amount of good in them that God see in that person to show you who he is and who God is. So you may have a certain amount of good in you that your mother and your father don't have. Okay? And common interests. We're interested in the same thing. That's what causes us to link. That's what causes us to link. Not today. Not today. So why am I so bent over and in love with this woman and we don't share the same interests? What am I interested in? Now I have to ask myself, what was I really interested in? Because our interest was not the same. You know who I'm talking about? Me too. You think I'm innocent? I have been interested in women that don't love my God. I have been head over heels over women that don't love my God. So now I have to question, what the hell is wrong with me? Why was I so interested and wanted this woman when she had no interest to serve my God? Why? You think I don't talk about myself up here?
Come on.
Huh? You think I'm up here just pointing the finger? Most of the things that I voice out of my mouth up here fits me.
Come on.
I said I fit myself, and I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to that which is within me, that God has commanded me to rule. That's what we need to talk to. That evil that we have in us. Each and every one of us have an evil within us. The very same day that Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, we have good and evil in us. But God said, rule it. Rule it. You got the power to rule it. But the reason why the evil in us take us over is because we weaken ourselves by going against God's law. We weaken ourselves. We weaken that strength. We weaken the things that God has, not, what's the word? Not established. He gave us the ability. God has given every man and woman the ability to rule the evil that is in them. But we weaken it by sinning presumptuously, by going against the laws and the commandments of God. So we weaken that. We weaken it, man. So we're not able to rule it. Tom Sheik. Verse 4, right?
4. You shall walk after the Lord your God and fear him.
You shall walk after the Lord your God and fear him. Be afraid to offend God. Come on. Be afraid to lie. Be afraid to steal. You know why we lie? Because I care about how you feel. I care about your feelings. So we lie and hide the truth because I don't want you to feel no way. But that's the problem. I have to disregard those things. I have to disregard those feelings. How about how God feels? We got to worry about how God feels when we violate a command. And stop caring about other people's feelings. Worry about how God feels when you stretch forth your hand and stole. How God feel about that? When we violate these commandments. Because God got feelings. And when we violate his law, he gets jealous.
Yeah.
He gets angry. Those are feelings. Those are emotions. So what do you mean we can't have emotions? Men have emotions too, but he tells us and told us how to channel it. Where to channel your emotions. Channel those emotions into God. So that when anybody you come around desecrate and violate the commandments of God, you turn on the ones that violate God.
Right.
That's why Saul could not get Samuel to go back with him. He turned to Samuel. He said, Samuel, come on back with me and worship. Samuel said, God has rejected thee from being king.
That's right.
So if God rejects you from being king, guess what? I got to reject you. That's the mentality of these men, these chosen men of God. If God rejects you, I got to reject you. I can't walk with a man that's rejecting the commandments and the laws of God. I can't walk with you. Because we on two different paths. I don't care if we serve the same God. The most I would do is go through, speak the word of God, and depart. Because we on two different paths. You eat blood, I don't eat blood. You do this, I don't do what you do. So therefore, we got to separate. It comes a point in time where Israelites have to separate themselves from Israelites, from our own people, because of how you live and the things that you do that God hates.
I am not like you.
So if you're not afraid, then you won't make the... See, you know what fear does? Fear makes you make the necessary decisions according to the standards of God. Your decisions that you make in life, you're going to correlate it and make sure that the decisions that I make in life does not conflict with the word, with God's commandments. I'm not going to move too far away because I'm going to check out the area that I'm moving. The area that I move into, I'm going to check it out first. There are things to check out before I move in the area. Me personally, I'm not going to move nowhere where I can't congregate. I said, I ain't moving nowhere where I can't congregate. Not me. I said, not me. I ain't moving nowhere where I can't congregate. You know why? Because I'm not a backsliding heifer. I'm not going to start something and then stop. And then blame it that I moved to the area. I'm not doing that.
That's right. That's right.
I'm not doing that.
That's right, killer.
Let's read.
You shall walk after the Lord your God and fear him and keep his commandments and obey his voice.
In all things, my brother Chief Abraham. His name is Bram Stokes, but his name is Chief Abraham. In all things, you put God first. I said, in all things that you get into, you must put God first.
That's right.
Whatever you do,
That's right.
whatever comes up, you got to question it. If me doing this, would I be violating the law? Would it be conflicting with the standards that God has set?
Right.
These are the things we got to be careful, man. You can't make decisions and put the laws and the commandments of God behind the back.
That's right.
Tom Sheep.
And obey his voice, and you shall serve him and cleave unto him.
Serve him and cleave unto him.
Verse 5.
Verse 5.
And that prophet or the dreamer of dreams shall be put to death, because he has spoken to turn you away from the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt, and redeemed you out of the house of bondage, to thrust thee out of the way which the Lord thy God commanded thee to walk in. So shalt thou put the evil away from the midst of thee. Verse 6. If thy brother, the son of thy mother, or the son, or thy son,
or thy son,
or thy daughter, or the wife of thy bosom, or thy friend, which is as thine own soul, entice thee secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods, which thou hast not known,
thou nor thy father.
namely of the gods of the people,
namely of the gods of the people that are round about you.
Nigh unto thee, or far off from thee,
Uh-huh.
from the one end of the earth, even unto the other end of the earth.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt not consent
Thou
unto
shalt
them.
not consent unto them. Thou
Agree.
don't agree. Uh-huh.
Or hearken unto him.
Come see.
Neither shalt thine eye pity him,
Uh-huh.
neither shalt thou spare, neither shalt thou conceal him.
Mm-hmm.
But thou shalt surely,
Neither shalt thou spare,
neither shalt thou conceal
don't
him.
hide them.
No more.
Blow it up. We can't hide things that people do that is against God. Certain things got to be spoken about. Certain things has to be spoken about and brought up front. What the violator has done, so we know what we have amongst us. Well, we know what we have amongst us, but we don't bring the violator up. We don't do that. You know what we do? We hide the monkey. We conceal the dude. And we hide it. We hide sin. Why? And when we do these things, God said you agree with it. These are things that we can't hide. We agree with it. Tom She.
But thou shalt surely kill him. Thine hand shall be burst upon him to put him to death, and afterwards the hand of all the people.
But thou shalt surely kill him. Thine hand shall be first upon him to put him to death, and afterward the hands of all the people. But we can't put nobody to death today. You know why? Because we, look, we are not in our land. We are not in the position to do certain judgments. Because if you do certain judgments and the government hear that you don't kill somebody, you're going to jail for 25 to life. So that should tell you we are not free to fulfill all these judgments and commandments. We're not free for that. We are under a different government, a different establishment, a different rulership, a different regime. That's why Moses went to Pharaoh. He said, we got to go. We can't serve God here. Huh? I said, we can't serve God in Egypt because we live under a different jurisdiction, a different standards, different principles. Just like when you are trying to serve God, but you're living in your mother and your father's house. But they don't live this way. You got to separate.
Yeah, you do.
I said, you got to go. Because what your mother and your father say, got to go. It stands. I can't change your mother's rule or your father's rule. Even if it's against God, you got to let her rule stand. So you got to get up out of your mother's house. You got to get up out of your father's house to serve this God. Tom She.
Thou shalt stone him with stones that he die, because he has sought to thrust thee away from the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Tom She.
And all Israel shall hear and fear, and shall do no more such, and shall do no more any such wickedness as this is among you.
See, that's what makes you fear. That is what instills fear, judgment. When you see a monkey get stoned, that's what instills fear.
No, I'm not going to do that.
I'm not doing that because I don't want to say I don't want to get stoned. That's what instills fear. But because there is no judgment, people do whatever they want to do and don't have to worry about judgment or nothing happening. Look, there was a time where a dude got beat in the camp. He got beat. They beat the hell out of the man. Stripes. Somebody found out and told the cops. Feds came years ago. Feds came there, swarmed the whole. You can't beat nobody today. You go ahead and beat them and see what happened. And the word get out to the government, they're going to swarm your place. They're going to swarm your place. Tom She.
If thou shalt hear it say in any one of thy cities, which the Lord thy God hath given thee to dwell there, saying, certain men, the children of Belial, are gone out from among you, and have withdrawn the inhabitants of their cities, saying, let us go and serve other gods which ye have not known.
Okay, let's cut that. Let's go to Numbers 25. Numbers chapter 25. Got it?
Numbers chapter 25.
Numbers chapter 25. Time sheet.
And Israel abode in Shittim.
And Israel abode in Shittim. Shittim is was a place of Israel's encampment between the conquest of the Transjordanic region and crossing the Jordan into Canaan. Okay, go ahead.
And the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab.
And the people began to commit whoredom with who?
With the daughters of Moab.
With the daughters of Moab. Okay, what verse is that?
This is the first verse.
Okay. Now, to began, the word for began is kalal. That's the same word they use for Nimrod. You know what that means? To profane, to defile, to pollute through sexual rituals. So the Israelites that served the god of Moab, that invited through these women, these Moabitish women, they were serving their gods through sexual rituals, orgies, and all these abominable things like having oral sex and anal sex. You have some Israelites that can't let go of oral sex.
It's unbelievable to me.
You can't let go. But oral sex and anal sex was the way they served their gods.
Sutra.
Baal Peor. That was included in worship of Baal Peor. Baal Peor. Baal means Lord. Peor means Peor, or the root word Pa'ad means opening. Lord of the opening. The opening was the woman's vagina. Lord of the woman's vagina. So they exchanged bodily fluids in honor and worship of the deity. Me going down on the woman going down on the men, and anal sex.
That's right.
Groups, orgies, bestiality. That's right. Look, hey, I have some great information because we love to follow the customs of the heathens. I say we love to follow the customs of the heathens, but you never read about marriage ceremonies. I said you never read about marriage ceremonies. The only thing you read about was a banquet. We had a banquet, but you didn't have no marriage ceremonies. You know the origin of marriage ceremonies? Caligula was a Greek. It was a Greek custom. Roman? It was either a Roman or Greek custom. I had the information. I'm going to bring it tomorrow on Shabbat. 10:30 we start. But that marriage ceremonies is a Greek and Roman custom. And the ceremony consisted of, before the husband penetrated the wife, the ruler has to penetrate the husband, the wife, and his horse.
The damn pet, everybody.
The damn pet.
Everybody.
Okay? Whoredom. The word for whoredom, he said they defiled themselves and did what?
They began to commit whoredom.
And began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab. All right? Whoredom is zana, idolatry, to go a-whoring, immorality, idolatrous pursuits. So what is immorality? Immorality is behavior that is wrong or goes against the standards of God. All right? Behavior that is wrong or go against the standards of God. Of what is acceptable. Okay? Idolatry is excessive devotion or immoderate attachment. Immoderate attachment is excessive or extreme attachment. It's so extreme, this attachment is so extreme that I can't let it go. I can't let it go. Go ahead, go on verse 2, right?
And they called the people unto the sacrifices of their God.
Now, if you learn Hebrew, the last word of their God is Elohei Hanan. You have a feminine and you have a masculine form in Hebrew. Hey, nun sophi, hey, mem sophi. Hey, mem sophi makes it masculine.
Right.
Hey, Nun Sophie makes it feminine. Elohim Hang, it was a woman's God. Baal Peor is a woman's God. Okay? The Hey and the Nun makes it feminine. Baal Peor was the woman's God. You hear what it says? Lord of the opening, Lord of the woman's vagina. Okay? Tom sheet.
And they called the people into the sacrifices of their gods, and the people did eat and bow down to their gods.
The people did eat and bow down to their gods. Okay? Go ahead.
And Israel joined himself.
And Israel joined themselves. The
God.
word for join is zadeh mem dalet, right? To join themselves, to attach themselves, to bind themselves. Now, to join means to be connected. To be connected with. To be connected with. Remember, when we married into these strange women, what did we have to do? We had to let go of the strange woman. We had to let go of the children. We had to separate ourselves from the woman and the children.
Yep.
And guess what? Our forefathers did it. They had to let go of the woman. They had to let go of those children. Why? Because they chose God over the woman that they chose, and you weren't supposed to have that woman. Okay? To become involved in a profane activity with other people, associated or related. I said associated or related.
That's deep right there, man. Associated or related.
What is association? Who you associate yourself with.
Break it down.
Who you associate yourself with. Who you go around, who you associate. That means a lot, because who you associate yourself with, I can tell who you are.
That's right.
By who you walk with and who you associate yourself with, I can tell the type of person you are by who you walk with. That's why we got to start separating ourselves and start making some separation and distinction between your friends, between your friends and the people you walk with. Tom sheet, what verse we at? 6 or 4? Verse 4, right?
2.
Oh, 2. Go ahead.
No, verse 3. So, and
No.
Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor, and the anger of the Lord was kindled
against Israel. Tom sheet.
And the Lord said unto Moses, take all the heads of the people and hang them up before the Lord against the sun, that the fierce anger of the Lord may be turned away from Israel.
And that's the problem today.
Yep.
I said that's the problem today. You know who's the problem today? The heads, the leaders, the chiefs, the princes, the chief prince, and all these heads with offices, and they're the problem. I said they are the problem. Because they are guiding the people and leading them in the way that is not acceptable by God.
That's right.
Go ahead.
And Moses said unto the judges of Israel, slay ye every one his men that were joined unto Baal Peor. And behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his brethren a Midianitish woman in the sight of Moses, and in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping before the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
So while the nation is weeping at the door of the congregation of the tabernacle, you had a guy who walked in with a Midianitish woman. Go ahead.
And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, saw it, he rose up from amongst the congregation. Took a javelin in his hand. And he went after the man of Israel into the tent and thrust both of them through. The man of Israel and the woman through her belly. So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel. And those that died in the plague were 24,000. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, had turned my wrath away from the children of Israel, while he was zealous for my sake.
While he was zealous for my sake. You know what's the word for my sake? King Ah. He was zealous for my jealousy. He was jealous because God was jealous.
He took it personal.
He took it personal because God took it personal. You see the connection between these men and God?
That's what made him move.
This is a certain level of righteousness.
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel the way God feels for a violation of the laws of God?
Yeah.
How do you feel when the law is being violated?
Yeah.
How do you get when the law is being violated? And it ain't got to be you that violated. How do you get when you see people violate the law? That's how our forefathers got. That's how Phineas got. That's why he caught the herbs to go up in that tent.
Yeah.
He couldn't take it, and he killed both of them.
That guy was real bold.
You hear me, man? That's a level of righteousness that you can get to, but it take work on yourself. I'm not gonna say you can't get there. You have to put yourself in that spot. You gotta put yourself there. Tom Shane.
Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, had turned my wrath away from the children of Israel, while he was zealous for my sake among them, that I consumed not the children of Israel in my jealousy. Wherefore say, behold, I give unto him my covenant of peace, and he shall have it, and his seed after him, even the covenant of an everlasting priesthood, because he was zealous for his God, and made an atonement
for the children of Israel. So you mean to tell me you also can make an atonement? You also can expiate iniquity? You also can remove or to wipe out iniquity by judgment? Huh? Judgment. Another way to get rid of sin is in mercy and truth. Can expiate sins. Can get rid of iniquity. Alms can get rid of iniquities. Honoring your father can get rid of iniquities. Those are Tom C.
Now the name of the Israelite that was slain, even that was slain with the Midianitish woman, was Zimri, the son of Salu, a prince of a chief house among the Simeonites. The name of the Midianitish woman that was slain was Cosby, the daughter of Zer. He was head over a people and of a chief house in Midian. The Lord spake unto Moses, saying, vex the Midianites and smite them, for they vex you with their wiles.
They vex you with their wiles. You know what the word for vex? Zorim. It means to be restricted. They have restricted you. Okay? They have restricted you with their wiles. Right? The word for wiles means they deceived you with their deception. They used the woman to deceive you. Okay? We restrict ourselves and limit ourselves by the things we do in our lives. We restrict our own selves from reaching a level of righteousness with God by the things that we do in our lives. So now, we got to train ourselves to forsake our senses. Because not everything you see, you can have. Not however you feel. Sometimes I may have to denounce my feelings because it doesn't correlate with how God feels. You can't satisfy everything. Tom C, is that it?
For they vex you with their wiles, wherewith they have beguiled you, in the matter of Peor, and in the matter of Cosby, the daughter of a prince of Midian, their sister, which was slain in the day of the plague for Peor's sake.
Go to Psalms 12. Go to Psalms chapter 12.
Psalms chapter 12. Help, Lord.
Help, Lord.
For the godly man sees it.
Hoshea. Hoshea means succor. To succor. S-U-C-C-O-U-R. Help, Lord. It means to give assistance. To support in times of distress. Because our hope is in God. So whenever we need help or assistance, then we should be turning to God. Don't turn to lawyers, because then you'll put your trust in the arm of flesh. Put your trust in God first. Try me. That's what God said. God said try him. God said try him. Look, man, to turn the wrath away from God, there are keys in here that shows us how to turn God's hand or to lift God's hands up off you. Saul, was it Saul? No, not Saul. Ahab. Ahab showed us. And he was an example. See, that's what these men are. When we read about these men and the righteous woman in this book, they are examples and they show us how to get to God, how to get his attention, how to lift the hand of God up off you for evil because we deserve it. So Ahab humbled themselves. He wore sackcloth, he fasted, and he walked softly. He humbled himself before God. And by Ahab doing that, God had stayed and hell had to hold back one of his angels. He said, hold on. He said, you don't see how Ahab is humbling himself. It's easy. Which means when you get in trouble and God is putting you through certain trials and tribulations, and you go into court or you're going before the judge, go on fast. Try that. Try that. Do the same thing that Ahab did. You gotta try God, man. Go on and fast. Put on some sackcloth and humble yourself. Afflict yourself by not smoking and drinking, watching TV. Don't do things to pleasure yourself. Because it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. God said, that's not the fast that I accept. I said, that's not the fast that God accepts. You can't go on the fast and be watching TV, smoking, drinking, doing things and being into the worldly things, being occupied. No, go lock yourself up in the room and go on the fast. The next time you go on the court, don't watch no TV, don't smoke, don't drink. Go on the fast. Try God. And I bet you it worked. God said, try me, man. But we don't try God. Lock yourself up in the room. I don't want no kids coming in here. Nobody bother me. I'm going to go in this room. I'm going to pray every hour. I'm going to read while I'm fasting and afflicting myself in sackcloth. And I must humble myself. You know what humble means? Say, Ahab, walk quietly. You ain't gonna hear him. You ain't gonna hear me get raunchy and yelling and screaming because the two don't go together. What do you mean you're humbling yourself and you're fasting and praying and putting on sackcloth, but you still got a negative spirit on you, a raunchy spirit on you? Try God, man. Try him.
That's right. Talk about it.
Try him. Let's read. Where we at?
Help, Lord. For the godly man ceasing.
Godly. You know what godly means? I said, do we know what godly means? The word godly is kasid. Kasid means pious, faithful. What faith? What pious means? Devoutly. A person that shows or emphasizes deep feelings and commitment to God.
Wow, come on.
A person that emphasizes and shows deep feelings and commitment to God. What is faithful? Loyal and steadfast with God. What is loyal and steadfast? Loyal means showing firm, constant allegiance for God. Showing firm, constant allegiance to God, which means I won't be swayed and pushed off the track. I will continue to wash, and I ain't going to let nothing get in my way. That's firm allegiance. That's being loyal to God. I will not do this, and I will not do that. That's being loyal to God. Don't allow nobody to get in the way of you fulfilling the standards and the principles of God.
Come on.
Because we start to accept certain things and do certain things and act like God gonna understand.
Right.
No, God ain't tell you none of that he understands.
Never said it.
You say God understands. You want God to accept it. But God, come on, man. Steadfast means what? Resolute. What does resolute mean? A determined person.
Made up mind.
I got a made up mind. Make your mind up what God you want to serve. That's why Joshua went to the people. He said, y'all, he said, you people can't serve God. He said, because he's a holy God.
Yep.
He said, because he's a holy God. Why do you think God gave us these laws? Because these laws will make you holy.
Yeah, it will separate you from the rest.
The laws of God will set you aside.
Yeah.
I said the laws of God will separate you because what you do, they don't do. How I walk, you don't walk. It will cause you to be separated amongst your own people.
Yeah.
That's why God gave us these laws, man, to separate you from the neighboring nations round about, from the neighboring people round about. Okay? A determined person, dutiful, is conscientiously or obediently fulfilling one's duty. Okay? What does firm and unwavering means? Firm determination to serve God. Be firm in your purpose. I said be firm in your purpose and belief.
I made up mine.
Make your mind up.
I made up mine.
That's all that means.
Yeah.
Tom Sheep. You at
For
verse
the
2?
faithful fail from among the children of men.
Tom Sheep.
Verse 2. They speak vanity,
They speak vanity.
everyone with his neighbor,
Everyone with his neighbor.
with flattery.
Now, when a person speaks vanity, that is self-praise. That is excessive praise. All right? In one's appearance, qualities, or abilities. You know what that is? You know what self-praise is? Narcissism. Right? Narcissism is a deepening of intellectual vanity into a kind of self-infatuation, self-praises, excessive interest and admiration of themselves.
Birthdays.
I said of themselves.
Birthdays.
So when you observe birthdays, that's what that is.
That is.
You self-praise yourself, excessive interest in yourself, and admiration in yourself. So when you celebrate birthday, you the narcissism.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You the narcissist. Don't call me no narcissist.
Yeah.
Because I don't celebrate myself.
Yeah.
I don't celebrate myself.
That's what it is.
Different.
And I don't look for people to celebrate me during my birthday.
Different.
So guess what, people? You want to call people narcissists? The real narcissists is the ones that celebrate their own birthday.
That's right.
You're the narcissist.
That's
Calling
right.
me some damn narcissist. I ain't no narcissist. I serve God.
So
And I have
right.
excessive interest in the word of God.
You don't worship
And I don't
yourself.
put nothing before the word of God.
That's right.
Not interest in myself. I'm selfless.
That's right.
We can't serve God being selfish,
That's right. That's right.
which caused them to lack the ability to understand or care about the feelings of others. Okay, Tom Sheep. Speak ye
They
vanity.
speak vanity, everyone
Everyone to his neighbor
with flattering lips,
with flattering
and
lips.
with a double heart.
And
do
with
they
a
speak.
double heart do they speak. Unbelievable. You know what a double heart is? Huh? A double heart, it says, Beled Waled. Beled Waled, it means the inner man or will. The inner man means everything we are is on the inside of us. Your heart,
Deep in.
your mind, your thoughts,
Feeling.
your emotions, how you feel. All right? That's who you really is. Who you really is. That's what makes it your character, your personality, how you think, how you move, what you have in you. Now, by adhering to the laws of God, you can change that.
Right.
Yeah, you can change that. A double-hearted person speaks good and evil about a person.
Yeah.
1 minute you're good with them, next minute you're speaking evil about the person. 1 minute you're good with them, next minute you're speaking evil about the person. You two-faced.
Wow.
I say you're two-faced. Tom Sheep.
The Lord shall cut off all flattering
All
lips,
flattering
and the
lips.
tongue that speaketh
And the
proud
tongue that
things.
speak proud things. Tom Sheep.
Who have said, with our tongue will we prevail? Our lips are
The
our
Lord
own.
shall cut off all flattering lips and the tongue that speaketh proud things. Gadol, haughty things, insolent things. What does haughty means? Speaking in a cocky or superior way, showing arrogance and conceit. What does cocky mean? Arrogant in an impudent way. Impudent means disregard for others. When you disregard others, how other people feel. Tom Sheep.
Who have said, With our tongue will we prevail. Our lips are our own. Who is Lord over us? For the oppression of the poor.
For the oppression of the poor.
needy.
The word for oppression is shin dalet. It means for the violence or the thing wrong done. Oppression, unjust exercise of authority. The lamentation or the sighing of the needy. Tamshi.
The oppression of the poor, for the sighing of the needy. Now will I arise, saith the Lord. I will set him in safety from him that puffeth at him. The words of the Lord are pure words, as silver tried in the furnace of earth, purified 7 times.
The words of the Lord are pure words. I said the word of God is pure. Go ahead.
As silver tried in the furnace of earth, purified 7 times. Verse 7. Thou shalt keep them, O Lord. Thou shalt preserve them from this generation forever.
Thou shalt keep them, O Lord, and preserve them from this generation, from such generation forever. Keep who? Keep who? God is going to guard you from being the way they is. He's going to keep you from being like the rest of the people. Just by you showing a certain amount of determination for God, God is going to keep you from being like them.
Not gonna be like
Tamshi.
the wicked walk on every side, when the violence men are exalted.
All right, you can close the book. The wicked walking on every side. The wicked is in everything. They are involved and they are in everything. They don't have they're in everything. They don't they're right now. The word vile, it means being unpleasant, immoral, and unacceptable, offensive in words or actions. That's vile. How many of us are this way? How many of us are unpleasant? Because you could be unpleasant in your actions, and you could be unpleasant in just your words and the things that you say. Okay? Immoral. And unacceptable. Offensive in words and actions, which means we got to be careful and watch what we say. Unpleasant means causing discomfort. The way you act and the things that you say, you can make this person or that person feel uncomfortable. All right? So there's a way we act when we're around certain people. Unhappiness or revulsion. All right? What is discomfort? Discomfort means to make someone feel uneasy, anxious, embarrassed. So there's a way to act when you're around new people. Okay? Because they're new. They're new. And by me moving or acting in the way by me acting this way, I may cause this person to feel a way. Oh, I ain't doing nothing. Yes, but the way you're acting, you may have this person feel somewhat uneasy or feel a type of way. So these are things that we have to really pay attention to. That's right. Okay? When we decide that we're going to serve God, when we decide that we're pushing for God, there are a whole lot of things that we have to keep in mind. These are the ways of God. These are not laws. I said, this ain't law. Those are the ways. I said, these things that I speak about is the ways of God. The ways of God. Uneasy means causing feeling of anxiety or uncomfortable. When I do things and say things, that I make this one or that one feel uncomfortable. All right? What is revulsion? A sense of disgust and loathing. Feeling of repugnance and dislike, distaste. And with that, I hope I got what was bought. And I'm going to say Shabbat Shalom. And it will be to be continued tomorrow at 10:30. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.